Terry Bassam.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Governor, for your leadership in this area. Kansas City Power and Light has been working now the last several years from a construction perspective as well as, I think, a leadership perspective in our state with regard to renewable energy. Part of our primary mission is to improve the communities in which we serve, and a big part of that is renewable energy, and we're very proud of that part. We've been working with Tom and his team over the last several months, and I think it's pretty clear that we share a vision in terms of Nordic's participation in the continued development of renewable power in Missouri as a piece of the portfolio to provide our customers with renewable and affordable electricity. So with that, I'd just like to say thank you, and we very much look forward to working together on many more projects like this as we move forward. And with that, I'll introduce Bob.
Jerry, thank you. Governor, Tom, Mark, I had a long list of people that I wanted to thank, and most of them have already been mentioned. I do want to, however, mention that so much of this begins at the top, and obviously at the top, we're talking about Governor Nixon. Here in Kansas City, I want to mention Pat McCowan. Pat is the co-chairman of the board of Kansas City Area Development Council, the regional sales and marketing organization. Pat is chaired with, or partnered with Leo Morton, and Pat and Leo, thank you for all that you all do to make these sorts of things happen. I also want to mention Sherry Gormley on our staff, who did all the research that got us to where we are today. And Greg Kindle. Greg is the chairman of our Advanced Energy Task Force and got us focused on advanced energy. Now let me just conclude by reminding Tom of a little story that we told a few months ago. When we had to separate Kansas City from some other cities, I thought an analogy would work well. And so we talked about a race held on a hot summer day with two 1960 Chevy Impalas. And one was a beautiful car that just looked great, and the other one it looked good, but it didn't look quite as great as that first one. Well, they raced, and you know what? The one that didn't look quite as great won. And the reason it won was because it rolled the windows up. And sure, that driver was hot and sweaty, but the windows were rolled up, got better airflow, and that car won. Now, I gave Tom a model of that 1960 Chevy when we made that, when we met and talked about that. And I said to Tom, when you make your final decision for Kansas City, I'm going to give you the other one. So, Tom, I think it's time to roll the windows down, to take the top off, and to enjoy the benefits of wind. Tom, I hope that this model, coupled with the other one that you received earlier, will forever imprint on you the decision that you made here today for Kansas City. It's meaningful to us. It's important to our future. And Tom, we're pleased to give you this replica of a 1960 Chevy convertible with the wind blowing through your hair.
Great.
I want to ask Troy Schulte to come forward. Troy is the city manager of Kansas City. Troy and Jeff Kazmarek in the back of the room played a very important role. Troy, would you come forward and say a few words?
Thank you, Bob. It is always great to be able to welcome new industry and new jobs to Kansas City, Missouri. Sometimes we in the metropolitan area get a little upset about whether companies locating on one side of the state line or versus on the another side of the state line. It's always good when we can say Kansas City is leading with new jobs, new technology, new forms of business, leading the way in the 21st century. I can't think of a better place and a better team than Nordic Windpower to join this city. Special thanks to all of the partners that have already been mentioned. This has been a collaborative effort. And to use your analogy, I'll take another musical analogy. With Nordic Windpower and the growth and opportunities it presents, everything's up to date in Kansas City. So thank you very much, and we look forward to a very successful venture on the part of Nordic Windpower. And if you ever need anything from the city, count on us as a partner. So thank you very much, and welcome to Kansas City.
I would like to invite everyone up, our guests, to answer any questions you may have, or if you want to do a private interview, we're able to do that at the end of the program. Any questions?
I believe the question was, when are the production lines intended to be open? We are now finishing up a release of turbines in our plant in Idaho and expect to move our location during the March, April, May timeframe. and then restart operations shortly after that temporarily in the hangar here on the airport. Your question was about job creation by the company. Yes. We have 50 people in the company today. Approximately half will relocate to Kansas City, and the balance of those jobs will be created here. We actually have already started the interviewing process about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We've come up across some very excellent local talent in the financial and operational side of our business. So over the course of the next 4 to 5 years, we will ramp up to in excess of 200 employees here in Kansas City.
Everybody's interested in good quality green energy jobs, not just in the manufacturing sector, but we will have a disproportionate amount of technology and R&D jobs, as well as professional positions in sales and in service. So we think that's a very positive impact. Our managers are all very experienced. I'm actually one of the youngest on the team, and I'm not young at all. And in themselves are strong community leaders and people involved in their churches, involved in their schools as well. And we think outside of the workplace, it's important to make an impact on the community. Several things attracted us to Kansas City. Its proximity to the wind resource throughout the center part of the U.S., of course, was important to us, which meant proximity to customers and to project sites. But more importantly, it was the people element. Our ability to attract great people was important to us, both within Kansas City and also from the outside. Kansas City has one of the highest densities of engineering talent in the country, and relevant engineering in terms of power generation, in terms of aerodynamics and composites technologies. These things are all very important to the wind turbine sector. We sell our wind turbines to communities, municipal utilities, school systems and universities, small wind farms that are locally owned by investors. And so it's important. It was very important to us not only to be in a community that looks and feels like the communities that we sell to, but also be seen as an active participant in the community as well. And I think across our management and our staff, and the fact that we're hiring most all local people, that we will be able to generate that community spirit that we want our customers to see. Yeah, I think in my short presentation, there's a lot of people here in Kansas City to thank, and I without going through all the names here, I think the most important thing about it, what we saw in terms of looking at 11 different states, 14 different metropolitan service areas, was a team here in Kansas City between the state, regional, county, and city people, and how they worked in harmony amongst themselves to find a way to bring Nordic Windpower to Kansas City. And what that meant to us was the morning after an announcement like this, that's when the real work starts. And we really felt that the team here in Kansas City were the people that we would want to work with out of all the other locations that we had looked at.